really excited to
I'm
talk to you about so many things. I also want to say thank you so much for supporting the reviews, the blogs. It's really much appreciated. And I'm glad that you've also enjoyed watching my feedback as a viewer.
Every single week I'm like, oh my God, I cannot wait to like see what you've said, see what you thought. Like, you're so honest, but I feel like you're very kind to us as well, which is really nice because, you know, some of it has been quite harsh. So it's nice to know that I wouldn't be scared.
Well, you know what? Barry's also in the chat as well. We have spoken a little bit about, and I will get into it a little bit about the Twitter kind of feedback, because it has been super aggressive in some cases and unnecessarily so. Let's kind of bring it back to you being the artist. We also have Sizel in the chat. Shout outs to her. Let's give yourself an introduction, because I know you're not Emelle originally. You're also Megan Louise.
Actually, I started off music as Megan Louise when I was 11, actually. And I basically then decided during lockdown that I wanted to move more social media. You know, I was gigging every single weekend and then lockdown hit. So I thought, you know what? I can't just rely on my gigs anymore. I'm going to have to get into social media. And that's what I did. And then that's when I changed my name to Emelle, changed all my branding, worked with a really cool graphic designer. And that was probably when I really started to figure out who I was as an artist. So yeah, and now I do like mainstream country is what I want it to be.
Well, you know what? You've got me into country watching you on the show. It's such a cool, like, modern take to country. So it's like a nice blend. Makeover as well. I've been deep diving into your YouTube, and I saw kind of, you know, the initial start you've had and also the transformation into Emelle.
It was really hard for people to take me seriously because I was so young, and like literally like my nan would dress me for gigs. Like she'd be like, you need to wear this really nice frilly dress. And then it kind of got to a point where I was like, everything I'm writing is so embarrassing for my age. Like I was like 16 at this point, singing like, ooh, and everyone was like, oh, you're so innocent and cute. And I was like, but I don't want it. That's not me. If you met me as a person, you wouldn't be like innocent and cute, as you know from the show. So I feel like I just wanted to be more true to myself. And like, it was scary because I was obviously, will Emelle live up to what Megan Louise has done? Because I did achieve a lot. But she smashed it, so I'm happy.
You definitely have. And that's, I think, why you kind of stood out on the show, because you really, what I felt before going on to the show, you knew your sound, you knew your vibe, you knew what you wanted to bring to the table. It wasn't like you were trying to grow on the show. You were just getting the opportunities that hopefully that would bring. Let's talk about before joining the show. Did you have any like preconceptions before joining the show?
I was scouted, and literally I just thought it was all a big joke. Like I was like, the amount of times I've been called down to London for The Voice. Like I was on The Voice Kids as well when I was younger. When I was 14, I did The Voice Kids. And for me, I was just a bit like, eye roll, can't be bothered, like whatever. And then I went down for the audition, and I remember just seeing everyone and being like, everyone's like super talented. I was scared. And I said to my mom, like, oh my God, they're going to realise that I'm not actually very good. And she was like, shut up, you'll be fine. And then when I got the call to say I got a call back, I was like, shut up. And then I literally remember sitting in the room with the producer, like, please put me on this show. I hate my job. Please put me on the show. And then I got the call to say I was on the show, and I was like, 2 weeks to sort everything out.
I went through some of the application process, and there's a lot of emphasis of making this a bit more of a holistic show. So unlike The Voice, and I guess unlike the X Factor, this was a bit about like, oh, you know, you have to have a social media presence. You also have to do everything around being an artist. Obviously you've been an independent artist, you've been wearing all the hats already. Did you feel like really ready to go into a show like that?
That's probably the reason why after my experience on The Voice, this show felt the most right for me, because I was so annoyed that all of my hard work for weeks and weeks and weeks to do this blind audition came down to 90 seconds. And you know, if you lose it in that 90 seconds, then it's like that's you done as an artist. And I hated that, because I was like, I've got so much more to me, you know. People like coming to my shows because I can be funny, you know. I am quite savvy with the business side of things, and I was really like excited to show that. But I was also, I think I didn't realize until I was there how like advanced I was for my age for that, because I thought, oh God, doesn't everyone just do that?
Right. You've
And I
got
was
so used to
around
it.
so many
Yeah.
people that were like
Yeah.
old, a lot older than me, who were doing it. So I just thought, God, everyone's gonna just be like mega good at social media, mega good. I just really underestimated myself, I think.
Obviously, you have a very strong personality. Some people are going to like it, some people are not. The reason actually in my reviews that I guess I kept it a bit more balanced was I understood also that this is a competition. Like you and Barry, I mean, it's part of who you are, but also it is a competition. So did you think everyone was taking this competition seriously or in the same way that you were?
It was more of a, I think some people came on the show probably too early in their music career, which is how I felt going on to The Voice. Like, I just wasn't experienced enough. And I think that a lot of people, like, I mean, Charlie will be the first to admit that he thinks, you know, it was annoying that he went on so early because he didn't realise what he had to work on. I mean, it's the same with me, really, in terms of, like, the certain things I went on and thought, like, my music video and stuff, like, I have no experience in that. Had I have known, I would have gone and done way more music videos.
Talking to Charlie, he mentioned that as well. Like even the first task of like bringing a signature song, he didn't have one that was like fully ready because he thought that's what they would work on the show. So I get that, you know, you're assuming that you're going to grow on the show also, so you're not expecting to be ready to go. Sorry, the only reason I smiled was because Joey Hinman said bust the handlebars for the culture. And there was another comment about your dancing, which was iconic in itself. It was so hilarious to watch. But you know what? You did the choreography with the I think it was like a napkin or something. You know, you went for it.
God loves a tryer. Come on.
We have a comment, never stop being unapologetically you and who you are as an artist, because I think, yeah, it's very endearing for somebody like me, I guess. I am quite maybe not at that point where I fully am confident with me as an artist. And to see you on the show, I know there were things that you were saying that were really harsh and maybe people wouldn't get it. But it was nice to see that you stood by what you said. And it's like, actually, this is how I feel. And this is how I'm walking into the competition. I'm not carefully saying something not to offend someone.
I've seen some of your stuff. I love your stuff, by the way. You shouldn't be down on yourself.
Thank you so much. Talking about that, one thing I really related on the last episode was the issues around the video. Really, it wasn't about the dancing. I think it was more about like the self-image issues that, you know, you kind of were dealing on set, but you probably have dealt with a long time. When has that kind of occurred for you?
I was quite bullied in school, and I was actually in a girl group around the same time I was getting bullied, and we were all having to wear pink lycra cat suits at the time because it was like a space concept, but it's very complicated. But we all had to stand in a line with our pink lycra cat suits on, and they said everyone can go apart from you, and then told me that my shape looked odd and that I'm gonna have to hide my shape because it didn't look as good as the rest of the girls. And like, I think from a young age, that was my first music video experience, and it's awful. So since then, like, I like to be very in control of what is shot of me, and I think that challenge, because I wasn't even allowed to see the monitor because we didn't have time, and like they told us we'd be styled, and the stylist brought the wrong size clothes for me, so every time I moved, my outfit ripped. And it was just like the whole thing just played so much into that.
But what I did like though was you and Dylan, like your friendship on the show was so nice to see, and you both supported each other with, obviously you both have different levels of insecurity and different reasons for insecurity, but it was so nice to see. And I think even on Twitter there was a lot of like love for that friendship. Are you still in contact? I see a lot of you guys are still in contact.
Every time an episode comes out, like, he's the first one on the phone to me, like he'll FaceTime me, and actually like in the next episode I sent him like loads of messages being like, you got this. So like I I
Yeah.
am completely rooting for Dylan.
For me right now is Dylan and Mia. Mia also is quite shy, I think, on the show, but this might be the start of her really like coming out of her shell a little bit.
Mia. So like we shared a room, so we had a right laugh. I would say that like I do think that she got shy in front of the camera. Like she was not really like that in the house at all. She was more like what you saw in the music video in the house. And I think she was a bit intimidated by all the cameras, I think.
When you walked into the show, like, did you see somebody and think, "Oh, that's my competition"? Was there anyone that really stood out for you?
When we did it's really funny because when we did the auditions before the show in London, Dylan was with me in a group, like we had to do a group challenge. And then when we were back, I was with Dylan as well. And I just remember being like this, like he was really quite like quiet in terms of he wasn't loud just in the room. But I remember looking at him and thinking like he knows what he's doing. I can tell that he's got like confidence, quiet confidence. That is more scary than loud confidence.
It's one of the biggest asked questions that I got. Like even Naziti Naz, I don't know how to pronounce it, but Nazneen on Twitter was asking me, what have you kind of learnt from the show and taken on board watching yourself back? Is there anything that like, oh, maybe I should not be too vocal, or I need to work on X, Y, and Z?
Definitely should learn to, if I'm going to dish it out, to take it a bit better probably. But I think the emotion was so high at the time, it was hard. Yeah, maybe I could have kept my mouth shut a few times. It took my mind the whole time I was there, and I was really, really raw and honest the whole time, which I think I stand by still. I think probably I wouldn't have gone in so pessimistic about dancing, because I do think that I wrote my own history when like all of my interviews I say I hate dancing, I hate dancing, I hate dancing. Like I really should have just gone in there more open-minded, because you know Mia smashed it and she didn't necessarily dance. Do you know what I mean? I think I did it literally with like a choreography, when I probably could have just, you know, been feeling myself. And
obviously something you've taken away. Before we get into the beef side of things, the other thing I noticed was the judges didn't really give, from my perspective, constructive feedback. I felt like when they were kind of critiquing it, it was a bit like, oh, it wasn't that great, but you could do this next time, or this is what we want to see.
They weren't very specific. And like, you know, in the O2 when they came through and gave us like their opinion on what we were doing, that wasn't very specific or helpful. But I think that's probably done on purpose, because if they tell us exactly what, you know, what to do, then we'll go and do it and smash it. When I'd left the competition, I had a conversation with the judges, and they gave me really like constructive. They were like, I want you to get in the studio, go and find Bill and Ted, get in with them, they're perfect for you, and get a body of work together and go to record labels. Like, don't waste any time. They were very specific once I'd left of but, and I think they were like that with a lot of the contestants, but during it was a bit like vague. Not really how to, like, it was just, we need to see you at the top, and you're like, yeah, but how, Frank? How?
It's always Frank. No, I have to say, like, watching the show, and obviously I said it in the review, seeing you and Dylan at the bottom two last episode made no fucking sense. I was just so confused. Of course, the videos, in terms of which video was better or whatever, I don't think any of them were like super standout, but I understood that you both were nervous out on set. But then they said, we're looking at the entire body of work. And I'm just like, what is going on? So
I go, thank God. We'll be fine then. And I was like, yes, great. Because how it kind of looked was, I think Jason mentioned like week 3, he said, this is a really important challenge for me, deciding who I want to sign. So in my head, I was like, why would he send home somebody for not being good at a music video to a Years and Years song, when I've shown him the most important part of being an artist?
I even made some notes actually on episode 1 they
Yeah.
gave Dylan obviously the front runner comment, but they also
Mm.
said you set the standard. You set the standard for everyone who had come on. And I was trying to find more like negative, or not negative, but like constructive feedback that they would give you. I honestly, I was just so confused that on this point of the stage, like of the show, they're just like, yeah, you two
Yeah.
are the bottom two and you're going home.
We're just taking this challenge out, therefore you're in the bottom. Because
Yeah.
do you know what? Fair enough, I hold my hands up. This was not my week. But I was angry. I think the anger came and the upset came from them trying to discredit how well I'd done. Because, you know, once I'd done week 3, I remember actually phoning my parents and telling them, like, guys, I genuinely, at this point, I think I could maybe win. And everyone in the house was like, I reckon, you know, it's Emelle and Dylan in the final. Like, everyone would say, it's Emelle and Dylan and then someone else. And it kind of felt like, once I was put at the bottom, everyone was like, why are you shocked? And I was like, all of the challenges were aimed at somebody like Mia, which shade on Mia because she's smashed this completely. But like, every single challenge was Mia's element, whereas like there were so many challenges that I was already on a back foot before I even started, because they account for the fact that, you know, I like to use a guitar, I like to show my genre a lot. I'm very genre specific and felt already at a back foot of showing my brand.
Let's kind of break down the beef, because that was one of the biggest asked questions that I got.
It came from the O2. So like, she was very stressful to work with at the O2, but I understood, because I think she felt the pressure having not done so well in the TikTok challenge. You know, like, me and Dylan were pretty calm. We were like, we done well. Like, it wasn't, I feel like there wasn't as much on the line. And as soon as we figured out that, like, we couldn't use guitars, because Dylan chose the group based off us all being able to play guitar, and we were going to do like a big, you know, as Barry would put it, come by our, sit by the fire, sing, remember. So she was quite annoyed about, I think she was like, why are you so annoyed about not being able to use your guitar? Which is whatever. That was all like, I understand competition. But then when we were on our way down to London, that was like a 3-hour taxi journey. And when I tell you, she didn't speak to us once. Dylan is trying to get a conversation out of her. She wouldn't speak to us on the O2. The only time she spoke to us was in rehearsals, and then she would actually sit away from us. Even when we were waiting to go on stage, she stood with her back to us and wouldn't speak to us. And I was just a bit confused about what her actual problem was. And then I thought maybe she was nervous. And then even after we performed, she went and sat with the producer instead of sitting with us. And then asked to be in a taxi back with the other group.
Okay, so this came from like a very small, you know, you guys being annoyed about your own situation.
I don't really know what her problem was at that point. But then this is where the beef started, but it wasn't on camera, and I don't know if I'm actually allowed to say it. But I'm going to say it. That basically when we were doing the song swap, and when Dylan was in, when Akeem was put in the bottom, I heard her say, just go and tell the judges it wasn't a very good song to begin with. So, hence the absolute beef.
Yeah. Of course,
like,
after hearing something like that, I mean, hopefully I get a chance to speak to Nnenna also. So that's a very, not a very nice comment when you've worked hard on creating the project.
Obviously, I said a lot of things, so it is a bit hypocritical of me to be annoyed at her, because I was a real shady bitch. But like, I have apologized to her for my comments, and obviously emotions were really high. Like, I don't think you can hold it against anyone for kind of being a bit, you know, bitchy towards you, because it was such a hard situation to be in.
Have you had the chance, like, post show now, like actually meeting up and talking?
She messaged me to say something like, I hope it's not going to be awkward at the premiere or something, and I basically just said, you know, I apologize for my part and things, and she just said thank you.
Oh wow, so she didn't apologize to you. Okay,
But,
well, that's
like,
awkward.
at the end of the day, I focus on me. You're not going to get on with everyone, are you?
Yeah, I mean, you say
No.
on episode 1, you're not there to make friends at the end of the day. However, I have to say, seeing you off the show, like a lot of you off the show, and still being so tight and like together
we are,
is so amazing.
I
Like,
literally spoke to Barry today. Like, I phoned him.
even Charlie was mentioning, like, one of the things that he said was a takeaway for him was having a music group to kind of like exchange ideas and share music. So I think that's so nice to see you guys have got that now, like a musical family, but also you can relate to be connected on a show like that.
Me, Barry, and Lily have actually written like quite a few songs together. I'm in the studio recording one at the minute, and like me and Barry wrote a song on FaceTime the other night. I think I'm gonna go down and write some songs with Dylan as well. So it's just so exciting.
I was gonna go into some more bits about Twitter. We had some great comments. Like a lot of people, I asked people to send their questions in, but they just kind of gave great feedback. Like, you have such a powerful voice. Minx Laura 123. Lisa J was also saying, sorry Barry, but how is Nnenna and Barry still in over Emelle? Something ain't right. But also there was just a lot of people super shocked and really crediting your voice, because I think that's what caught my attention. You have an incredible voice, an incredible sound, and this is just not like the end. I am excited for what you've got going on in the future, and it sounds like you're already working on music straight away after the show.
I have upped my production game. Like, I am going to some sick producers now, and it's just, I feel like the music I'm making is a lot more mainstream than Collateral Damage. So I think the show, like, you know, you said that you thought I was like put together, but I realized on the show that I have so much more growing to do. Like, although I felt really proud of what I'd done, like, I thought to myself, I need to be more commercial. I need to make it more radio worthy. I need to do what I did to Akeem's song to my own, and you know, have people like Frank say that my own songs are as good as that. And so so you can expect a lot more like Stay Loving Me, basically.
I'm excited to follow your journey. I'm genuinely so glad that we've been able to connect. And also, I feel like this show is just like a pilot of what could be. So I hope people are tuning in, because it is in its infant stage. I know some people online had some comments back and forth, but I think it's getting better and better that we get to see you guys as artists and really be creative. A pleasure.
See you on season 2.
Thank you so much. Well, we'll see. Oh, Charlie, we didn't even touch upon Charlie. Charlie actually sent a question and said, why is Charlie such a sweetheart? He wanted me to ask you that.
This man.
How did that relationship happen? Because that was cute, but it lasted so short. Like, we find out and then he's gone.
So during the TikTok, I featured in his TikTok. I don't know if you remember, but like, then on the taxi on the way back, we all like stopped at like a service station or something, and everyone went to the toilet, but me and Charlie stayed in the car, and we were like chatting. And then when we got back to the house, everyone went to bed, and me and Charlie were watching like 2 hours of the best come dine with me moments or something, something like that. And then like
shit happens. Well, he said it's now because of distance, like that. Obviously, you're still friends.
When I left, I got like, I basically was allowed my phone once I'd sang. I phoned him. He is who I phoned, and he was like, "You've got this. Like, don't cry. Like, this is just a TV show. You'll be fine." And it was like, as soon as I came out the show, we organised went to Birmingham together. He's so sweet. Obviously, even with my beef with Nnenna and everything, like, every single cast member is a good person. Like, there's no one that I'm like, genuinely, they are awful. Like, there's nobody like that. Even me and Nnenna I think we just clash. But like, there's no hate towards her whatsoever. Like, I said some pretty horrific things about people as well. So I'd be pretty hypocritical if I was to say she's not a very nice person. So yeah, and I wish literally everyone the best.
Honestly, I think, again, like, even when I'm ranking everybody, it's never anything personal. I think everyone is super talented, and I know, like, in a competition things get heated, but off the show, again, it's so nice to see that you guys have that kind of, at least you're cordial off the show,
yeah,
and have respect for each other off the show.
Like, I just hope that we all smash it.
Yeah.
And you.
Thank you so much. Much love. Genuinely, it's been such a pleasure talking to you, and yeah, I'm excited to see the next chapter in your
Thank you
musical
so
journey.
much.
So let's stay in touch.
Bye.
Thank you.